gentlemen, Fourth and Trollers, welcome back to Fourth and Troll Fantasy, the most entertaining fantasy football podcast on the planet. My name is Noah Selby.
And my name is Wes Selby.
And this isn't sweat. I just showered. I promise. I'm really nervous.
You just
though.
Missed it. It was on camera.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic time.
If you subscribe to our Patreon, link down below for shower streams, for shower mock drafts. There you go.
And in our
it's
Discord.
Final mock draft. Final mock draft of 2024. Wes, we're here. We made it. We are like 2 weeks out. We have NFL football next week officially.
Man.
Like regular season NFL football. You and I have a handful of drafts this week. So we're getting in our final mock draft for the Trollers here today on this episode. It's going to be a blast. Before we do that, check everything out down below. We got a Discord community. We're giving away a signed James Cook jersey if you can beat us in fantasy football this season.
Running out of time.
I bet you can't. So, yeah, run out of time. This is the last call. Go for it. Not last call. We'll talk about it next week, too. But we got some exclusive merch as well. That's all linked down below in our Patreon, patreon.com/4thandtrollfantasy. And make sure you're following us on all of our socials. We're always getting stuff out there for you guys. I think that's it. We got some news to talk about before we jump into things, right, Wes? Because there are some things to mention. Yeah, there's some things to mention.
There's a lot.
End of preseason, so go for it.
Yes. First things first, the news we've been waiting for, one of them for all offseason. CeeDee Lamb got paid. Pizzade, 4-year deal worth $136 million. Not quite as much as Justin Jefferson, but still a crap ton of money that got locked in. And so speaking of which, we are about 2 weeks away from the Bengals and the 49ers playing their first game. Jamar Chase, no word as of right now. Keeping that in mind as we're going to do our mock draft and strategy with that. No Jamar Chase contract. Don't know what his situation is going to look like. And Ayuk is not signed either. And neither has Trent Williams. So just keep that in mind as we continue our episode. And we'll see, maybe by the time you are watching, you hear something. Okay, now let's go through all this here. Bo Nix, officially named the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Congratulations. We'll see how the heck that turns out for them. Jahan Dotson was traded to the Eagles. Quick rant. It doesn't matter. I'm so sick of seeing all the people on Sleeper and social media talking about, did you see the Eagles offense? Look at this. Wow, now they have Jahan Dotson. Congratulations. The 5th option on that team. Doesn't matter. Moving on. I'm not drafting him. Speaking of not drafting, Malik Willis was traded to the Packers for a 7th round pick. There was a time people thought he was going to be a 1st round draft pick in his rookie class. Nope. Now he's backing up Jordan Love. Finally got their
quarterback of the future. Yeah.
Yes, they did. And anyway, all right. Zay Jones will be suspended for the first 5 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. How did Marvin Harrison Jr.'s stock go up even more? That's how. Anyway, Jelani Woods.
I thought you were going to say, how did a wide receiver get suspended for violating the conduct policy and his name wasn't Rashee Rice? That's a fair assessment.
That's a very fair thing. So he got suspended. Rashee Rice playing.
About Zay Jones and what he did, but I hear the suspension. Rashee Rice, yeah, send it. Whatever.
So, hey, remember how I said Jelani Woods was probably going to be a top 10 tight end? And you were like, it's not bad. Anyway, Jelani Woods will have surgery on his toe, and he'll miss 4 months and possibly return on Christmas time. So forget that. He's not top 10. I'm wrong. Instead, I don't know, Mike Gesicki? I don't care. Anybody else is in my top 10 now. Kylan Grayson, for those that are interested, Kylan Grayson and Mo Alley Cox are the next 2 tight ends for the Colts. Couple more here. Jahmyr Gibbs is expected to be practicing this week. He's been dealing with some issues with hamstring, but he should be good to go for week 1. No concerns at all. Both two Bills wide receivers, okay? Curtis Samuel, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, both questionable for week 1 with injuries. More opportunities for Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir. We'll see how that plays into week 1 and when they do return, if they miss any time at all. Hey, the Chiefs re-signed, actually, Juju Smith-Schuster, who remember was cut from the Patriots a couple weeks ago, whatever that means. Anyway, keep that in mind. Nick Chubb is officially starting the season, obviously, on the PUP list, meaning that he will be out for at least the first 4 weeks. For those that do want to lock and ruin one of your bench spots with Nick Chubb, but there you go. You'll have him there for 4 weeks at least. Puka Nacua was dealing with a knee injury. He's fine. Practicing again this week. Should be just wonderful for week 1. Jaylen Warren himself decided to tell the reporters he'll be fine for week 1. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury. Haven't heard anything from any doctors or coaches, but he feels he'll be ready for week 1. Last two here, the Broncos, they decided enough of Samaje Perine. We're moving on for him. They're going to try to trade him before today's deadline, actually, for roster cuts. But if not, he's gone. And then Tim Patrick, 2-time season misser for the Denver Broncos. He's also going to be out of Denver. And last piece of news, this will be interesting. Dalvin Cook's on his way to visit the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see if he ends up signing there and how that turns out. Again, we don't know where the Cowboys backfield is going into this mock draft, but that's it for the news. Let's teach you how to win your fantasy team for 2024 by drafting excellently.
Let's go!
Let's go!
Let's go. Let's do this. I'm hyped, dude. I'm ready. I'm ready to party. Yeah, dude. Mock draft, final one in 2024. Let's do it. Here's the deal. Here's the rundown. It's a 10-team draft. Roster breakdown is quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 flex. No kickers in defense. If you're still playing with kickers in defense, get that shit out of here. All right? Make it more fun. Make it more enjoyable. Add a flex spot. Add a wide receiver spot. Listen, nobody likes being on the losing end of you only lost because the Dallas Cowboys defense scored 32 fantasy points against the New York Giants in primetime. Like that, I was on the winning end of a lot of that last season, but I can assure you my opponent was not happy when that happened. So listen, get kickers in defense out of there. If anything, keep kickers out of flex spot. That's what we're doing. And then 4 bench spots. We're going 12 rounds, 10-team draft. We randomized. Wes is picking from the 101. I'm picking from the 106. Listen, here's the thing. All right, here's going to be just a quick strategy for fantasy drafts in 2024.
Yep.
First and foremost, I want to outline, always be adaptable, okay? You can do as many mock drafts as you want, and I can guarantee you will not get ever a exact match of a team that you mocked in your live draft. It will not go that way, okay? It just doesn't play out. As much as you want to prep for it, as much as you want to be ready for it, as much as you know who's locked in for your 10th round pick, you're going to get sniped. It happens, okay? It happens.
Yep.
You got to flow with it. You got to be adaptable. That's the first thing. Secondly, just as far as 2024 goes, this year, I'm in the belief, and Wes, I believe we share this belief that Wes and I are very confident in about 8 to 10 running backs.
Yeah.
And those guys go in the first 2 rounds. And let me tell you, the wide receiver position is so deep, and it continues to be so deep. Every single year it grows deeper and deeper and deeper, to the point where I used to be like hero RB or 0 RB and be fine like picking and choosing on like who could be a top 24 or a top 15 running back later in the draft. And I feel like it's actually a lot easier and ends up being a lot higher probability of getting a wide receiver 30 who produces similarly to a wide receiver 22 or to a running back 22, I'm sorry, who you can get wide receivers later. When it comes to this season, running backs, I believe, are key to be picking up early. That's my opinion. I see a lot of people don't agree with that. And I think they're all going to lose their leagues. That's just how it's going to go. Because when you double up on these elite running backs in the first 2 rounds, it's perfect, in my opinion. Like it goes really, really well for you as things play out. So anything to add, Wes, before we jump into it?
Well said. One thing I'll add is with the adaptability, you talk about people getting sniped. There's a chance an amazing player falls to you that you never mocked for, never prepared for. And sometimes you get so distracted because you're like, how did CeeDee Lamb fall to me at the 10th pick? And you're like, okay, I can't pass up on this guy. There's some players where you just can't skip, and it completely changes your strategy. But be adaptable, be ready, and let's get this going. We'll teach you how to draft right here.
Dude, I was doing a mock draft the other day, and Jalen Waddle fell to the 5-10, and I was like, "What?"
That's so. I mean, it's so stupid. How does that happen?
Insane. It's just so insane. You all have those people in your leagues that, like, I know specifically Hunter calling you out, bro, like 2 years in a row. he just kept getting guys to guys just kept falling to him in the draft,
And
and it
he
was like,
won.
dude, how? And he won 2 years ago, so it happens. Get ready for it.
It does.
Yeah, listen, let's do it. We randomized. I'm picking from the 106. West picking from the 101. 12
Oh
rounds.
boy.
Let's do it, dude. Let's get it going in 3,
Yes.
2, 1, boom. Oh, hang on, pop up. Hang on.
Hold on.
I think this happened last time too. Ready? In
What?
3, 2, 1, boom. Nice.
Oh boy, baby. You got a timer on there, you crazy guy. All right.
Oh, I'm so foolish. Hang on.
You're ridiculous.
I'm so unprepared. Right. What a moron.
You fix it. I'll keep talking here because I'm going to just say that I'm a man of my word, as all of you know, that I've been talking about the running back position, the wide receivers. You all know what I think is what the likely outcome is for Christian McCaffrey, okay? A lot of comments on social media, by the way. It's not ridiculous to think the RB1 is running back 4, okay?
No.
I can go over stuff, but I won't. 35% of running backs repeat in the top 10. That's it. Okay, just keep that in mind.
People are so pissed off.
It's not a ridiculous take.
I know. Anyway, people are acting like you were like, he's going to suck. And it's like, guys, it's RB4. Like, it's not.
Do you know? I mean,
do I agree? No, he's still my RB1. But like, you weren't saying he's going to fall off massively. It's like, guys, he's still a top 5 running back.
Anyway, that being said, first round. Running backs, no one and I are in agreement. Get your running backs early. It matters so much. And I take Bijan because I have him as my RB2. You know what my RB1 is, but he's later in a different round. So I go Bijan first overall.
Yeah, love it. Bijan, then Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey to the 103. Bless that guy. Jamar Chase at the 104. CeeDee Lamb at the 105. Comfortably, I feel like that's a value now that he's got the bag of money. I'm on the clock here. Listen, I like Amon-Ra St. Brown a lot. I do. But I'm of the understanding that this season, it is more important than ever to grab 2 stud running backs, go to a double hero RB approach because that wide receiver position is so deep. So my RB2 this season is Breece Hall. I think he's going to be fantastic. He was almost my RB1, and I'm going to grab him right now.
And if I had taken Breece or McCaffrey, you would have just taken Bijan, McCaffrey, or Hall at that spot. Like, you're just getting one of those 3 guys. Yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. You see at the 107, we get Jefferson, followed by Amon-Ra St. Brown, and A.J. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jonathan Taylor at the 1-2 turn, followed by Saquon Barkley. You then get Puka Nacua, and then Garrett Wilson at the 204. I'm back at the 205.
See, Team 10 gets it.
Team 10 gets it. Maybe more than I do. Because I'm thinking about doing something. But no, I'm going to stick to my guns, all right? I'm going to stick to my guns, and I'll explain later. I was thinking about going Marvin Harrison Jr., but I'm going to stick to my guns and take my next highest-rated running back. And I apologize, Wes. He will not make it back to you because I'm going to grab Devon H. I got it. Just based on the rankings, based on my beliefs, man, he's 205 right there.
You changed your ranking, like as we were talking. By the end of the episode, you moved him up to running back 4, right? You moved
H-Chan above. He was at 4. Yeah, I had him at 5. I moved him to 4, and I mean, all my top 5. He rounded out the top 5 of running backs gone off the board. You know, Kyron was my running back 6. It is my running back 6 this year. It was almost went there, but just had to go H-Chan. And man,
I'm not getting H-Chan in our league, am I?
I don't think so, dude.
I mean,
to be honest, with how much we're hyping him up, I don't know if I'm getting H-Chan in our league. So that's kind of the scary part.
I have to wait till basically pick 30 to get him, or 20, whatever. Anyway, all right. So
we get Kyron Williams off the board, then Marvin Harrison Jr., Devontae Adams, and Drake London in the second round. You're back on the clock, Wes.
You know, something about Drake London, though, is there's a lot about him with Kirk Cousins right now that makes me really concerned about Kyle Pitts. From training camp, it is not looking like Kyle Pitts is the guy that we think is going to be. So it's not a horrible decision. But obviously, I wanted H-Chan. And my next best running back on my list is really far down. But I have no problem reaching, especially here at the turn, because you have to reach to get the guys you want.
Yeah.
And this is why you do your rankings, because I look at the list and you can see it on the screen as well. Travis Etienne, Derrick Henry, Travis Kelce, not the guys I want. You know who I really like? He's a little bit further down. It's Deebo Samuel, someone you and I both think is a top 10 wide receiver, someone that I think has the opportunity to be top 5. Now, best case scenario, I could have waited to get him if I had another running back. Maybe I would have gone Cooper Kupp. In some leagues, in some formats, you have someone there. But I believe let's get out of the first 3 rounds with 2 running backs. And so, as you know, I'm going to get my RB5 reaching quite a bit, but I love this guy, Rachaad White, my next best running back. There he is. Bijan, Deebo, Rachaad. I love that red color, I guess.
It's a good start.
That's what
it's a good
I want.
start, yeah, going on there. Yeah. After Rachaad White, we got Derrick Henry, Travis Etienne, and 2 tight ends off the board in the middle of the 3rd round, Sam Laporta and Travis Kelce. Real quick, it's early. I don't hate it. I'm not going to construct my team that way, but looking at the people going around them, like, I don't mind if you'd rather have like Sam Laporta or Travis Kelce over like Chris Olave or Isaiah Pacheco. Like, I don't mind if you want to do that.
I understand.
I don't think it's a bad decision. That's just not how I'm gonna go with my teams this year. We're all about the value here on For the Troll Fantasy. So there you go. I'm back on the clock, 3-6, and I've stayed pretty consistent.
Josh Jacobs.
I could be a little tempted here just to see how things play out by taking Josh Allen right here in the middle of the 3rd round, because I usually see him go at the beginning of the 3rd just to see how that rolls. But I'm going to stick to my guns here and grab a guy that I'm really, really excited about this year that I think runs it back as a top 10 wide receiver, top 8 wide receiver. And I'm going to grab Mike Evans here as my wide receiver 1. I think Baker is going to be honed in on this guy again, even with Chris Godwin back in the slot. So I'm excited there about Mike Evans. After Mike Evans, we got Brandon Ayuk, Josh Allen at 3-8, Josh Jacobs, Chris Olave, Lamar Jackson at the beginning of the 4th round, Nico Collins, Isaiah Pacheco at the 4-3 feels really nice, to be honest. And then Stephon Diggs at the 404. I'm back on the clock. And
Mahomes instead?
You're gonna just triple up on these elite quarterbacks. Dude, someone's gonna have to trade him for me. So there you go.
I've seen people do that. It doesn't work.
It's such a dumb strategy. Don't do that, you guys. Don't draft like multiple quarterbacks.
Draft to trade.
Someone needs to trade. No, they don't. Yeah. They can figure it out. Like,
no,
it's not
true. Draft Sam Darnold instead.
Yeah. Listen, I got a guy here I'm really excited about. You're really excited about, Wes. With this guy's here for me, and nearly every time with my 4th pick, I'm grabbing him. Getting Cooper Kupp as your wide receiver 2 this season is an absolute hack. And so he is my wide receiver 2 on this team. I filled out both running back spots and both wide receiver spots, and it feels good, man. It's a good feeling.
Feels good.
Feels good.
I wish I get Kupp.
DJ Moore, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and James Cook. You're hoping James Cook would have fallen to you right there, Wes?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to check in. Do a little check in.
No, I think he'll be suitable. I think he will be a solidified top 15. I think he will be one of the most consistent and safer floor, but I do not see any upside with him to get into the top 10. But that's just personal opinion, because I mean, Josh Allen is going to be one of the top rushers on the team. That's the way that it was with Joe Brady last year once he took over. Anyway, okay, that being said, again, helpful to just kind of look at the strategy with someone who's got the turn here, because you got to reach on really the start of the next round. So as you know, I got 2 running backs here. I'm going to get my 2nd wide receiver. I know who the other running backs are, and I will get them later. I have a couple that I like in the 6th and 7th round that I will take and get someone to help me in case one of these guys goes down, or in case that guy ends up being amazing. So I'm going to get my 2nd wide receiver. You know him. You don't love him, but I do. It's Malik Neighbors, because I've got to.
He's risen. He's risen for me, but
he's risen.
I don't love him the way you do. I don't.
Sure.
He's not my man crush Monday, but he definitely is your man crush Monday every Monday. So
he's the guy that I would really like to have as my wide receiver 2, because it does feel a little bit scarier to take him as my wide receiver 1, but
sure.
We will see how that turns out in the actual draft. Okay, here's what we're going to talk about right now. You got to reach. It's not that big of a reach for me to take the guy that I'm eyeing right here, but Pay attention to the draft board. See what players are being taken. You notice how many tight ends are gone? 2, the top 2. You need to you need to consider what your teammates, your league mates are about to draft, because you are going to lose out on the elite players. For me, the top tight end that's left is Dalton Kincaid. So I'm going to get him. Not that big of a reach, actually, but I want to make sure I've got the positional advantage before they start flying off, because you see it happen a lot. People start to panic.
Definitely.
They see a quarterback gone. They're like, oh, I'm not going to get a good quarterback. I got to get a quarterback. And they go for tight ends too. It's always those 2 positions. So get a tight end when you need it, or don't panic. Just wait till the 10th round and you're good to go. And you got better running backs, wide receivers. So I got Kincaid.
Anyway,
Boom.
Dalton Kincaid
Good
there.
point.
We see Jalen Waddle off the board right after that. Alvin Kamara, Zay Flowers, and then C.J. Stroud off the board as the QB5. Oh boy. Don't love that if you're asking me, and I know you are. So that's why you're here.
Do you love that?
No, I hate it. Listen, my next pick is someone that I do love. He's my guy. You guys didn't like the thumbnail. I don't care. My wide receiver 3 I'm grabbing here is Tank Dell. And listen, we experimented with thumbnails with the My Guy episode, and like no one watched it.
They don't like our face.
They were like, "Who's that dude?" And I was like, "All right, well, I guess that's not happening."
It's very cute.
And Wes, what you pointed out just happened. So great job picking up your tight end, because right after Tank Dell goes Trey McBride, DK Metcalf, and then Mark Andrews, Joe Mixon, Michael Pittman, Devontae Smith, George Kittle, and Aaron Jones. I am back on the clock at the 6:05, and
before you pick,
I think I'm going to make. Go ahead. Yeah. What's up?
5 picks in. How do you feel about your team? Is this league winning? 5 picks in? You look at your squad and you're like, this is good. That's, I think, a great indication. If you get to the 4th and 5th pick and you feel like, yeah, I've nailed it, I think that 4th and 5th round, I think, are the most important picks, because I just feel like if you don't feel like you've got an elite player at that point, you might be toast. These 2 rounds, 4th and 5th round, are great. So you look at your squad here: Evans, Cup, Dell. If Dell is who you believe he is, but it's, of course, Brees Hall. That's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm so mad at you. Anyway.
That's a duo, dude, right there.
Okay.
I'm back on the clock. I'm gonna reach. I'm gonna reach a bit, actually, because listen, this is a guy.
We're not afraid to reach.
A skill position player who's gonna round out my starting lineup here. And you know, earlier in the offseason, I was feeling pretty good about Amari Cooper. Dude, I think I still can. I think I still feel good about Amari Cooper. He's still a top 20 wide receiver in my book. But the further and further we've gotten in the offseason, the closer and closer we've gotten into the start of the NFL season.
Cedric Tillman.
And the closer we get to kickoff, to that Thursday night, and this guy is going to be on the field catching passes from Patrick Mahomes, I can't stop reaching on Rashee Rice, man. I can't stop reaching on him. He's listen, even if he gets suspended later in the year, I mean, we're getting him to start out the year. And you start hot in fantasy, you have a good time. So there you go. I'm going to grab Rashee Rice to round out my last flex spot here. And what a starting 6 right there, man.
Just real quick, when you're trying to look at how players did last year, and you want to pay attention to who the Chiefs' top wide receiver is going to be, you think about how great Kelsey is. Rashee Rice had 102 targets. Let's just leave it there. Anyway,
he out-targeted Travis Kelsey over the second half of the year. I'll point that out for everyone. So they played like very limited preseason action the other day, the Chiefs starters, and Rashee Rice had like 4 targets. Like, it was like he caught like 3 balls from Patrick Mahomes in very limited time. It was like, oh man, this guy's just going to be incredible yet again. So there you go. After Rashee Rice, George Pickens, Amari Cooper, Kenneth Walker III, and James Conner. West, you're back at the 6'10". What are we doing?
We're looking at reaching again, because this feels like a bit of a dead zone for me, which is great, honestly, because that's what happens is if you're not drafting smart in those first 5 rounds, like we just pointed out, then your running back 2 may be DeAndre Swift.
Yep.
Or your wide receiver 2 may be Keenan Allen or T. Higgins. That's not great. So I have the luxury, because I've already got Dalton Kincaid, so I'm not going to panic and take Evan Ingram. I'm slowly turning away from Kyle Pitts with all that I'm reading in training camp, just to be totally
Incredible.
honest. Yeah, like there was a day I read where Drake London saw 44 targets from Kirk Cousins in the span of 2 days. And in that same time, Kyle Pitts saw 3. And that just blew my mind. I was like, what? Why? I'm not sure if I'm reading too much into that, but I'm just throwing that out there. It's a fantasy football podcast.
You
Anyway,
should be
okay.
a librarian.
So thank you. I
You're
will
reading too much
continue to
into that,
read.
yeah.
So I got Kincaid
okay.
anyway. I like Kincaid.
Yeah.
Kincaid is
You got Kinky?
I really want. I got.
Whoa, dude.
Oh my gosh! I'm not wearing pants. So I've got some wide receivers. It's true, but you can't prove that. So I'm looking at the wide receivers down here. There's some players that there's Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed has the upside to be top 15. I really like Chris Godwin as well. There's a lot about him that I'm reading out of camp that I think is really great. So I think you can start to look at those top 15, possibly top 10 surprising picks. For me personally, I like Godwin, and I'm going to get Godwin. And now I'm going to reach for the running back that I've had my eyes on really far down. So I didn't have any worry about him getting taken, but I'm going to go for Zamir White, a starting running back. Let's call it a day. Back up my top 2 elite guys, and I'm feeling good because now look at those 3 more running backs off the board right away.
Yeah, I don't hate it, Wes. Dude, we started the offseason really high together on Zamir White, not drugs on Zamir White. Smoking on that Zamir White pack. That's what we were doing this offseason. Yeah. We were really high. I've cooled down a little bit. I think I remember just Antonio Pierce was like, yeah, dude, we're going to run the hell out of this ball. And then I was like, yeah, he like single-handedly beat the Chiefs like twice, Zamir White did, pretty much. And then I was like, oh, they need to be winning football games to be able to run the ball a lot. And I don't know how often they'll be doing that. That's my only reserve. The defense is great. So the defense can be
Christian Wilkins.
What we know it can be. Then they will be able to run the ball a lot. And Zamir White will be a great pick. And I'm not worried about Alexander Madison or Dylan Lauby or whoever you want to talk about. Yeah, so I feel still good about Zamir White. Cooled a little bit. I think he's still in as I have him as like an RB2. But
that's why I have him as RB3.
Yeah, perfect. There you go. You get the value. I'm on the clock here at the 7-6. I'm looking here. I'm analyzing. I think I can play the waiting game here. There are 4 teams to pick in front of me, and they come back around. They can each make 2 picks, but 2 of the 4 have quarterbacks. So there will be 2 quarterbacks off the board. I've got a quarterback target. I think everyone knows who it probably is. And there are 3 quarterbacks in the ADP going ahead of him right now. So I'm going to wait here on quarterback and stock up again on just another skill position player, a guy that I think has a chance to be for my RB3, potentially a really good option here. And you know what? Actually, no, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, it's ugly, it's not sexy, but I'm gonna take Najee Harris. I think as my RB3 and an Arthur Smith offense with a defense like Pittsburgh, similarly to the Zamir White case, the defense can play well. They can kill a clock. I know they're not going to have quarterback manpower leading them.
Yes,
so
both the Raiders and Steelers need to figure out the quarterback situation.
I like Najee Harris. I also like Jalen Warren. I like them both. But right here, I think Najee's going to be the 1A in that backfield. So I'm going to grab him here as my RB3. I got Najee Harris. Right after that, there you go. What I expected and planned for happened. Anthony Richardson off the board right after Najee Harris, then T. Higgins, then Joe Burrow. So both those quarterbacks get taken, not the guy I wanted. Keenan Allen, Evan Ingram, his teammate, then Christian Kirk, Tony Pollard, and Javonte Williams. Back on the clock at 8-5. This is why I was almost going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. just to see how it would play out to get that stack, but I can't stop drafting Kyler Murray this season. I can't. He's a top 5 quarterback in my eyes. He's going to be incredible, and I'm getting him here in the middle of the 8th round, and I just call that value. I just call that
Yeah.
league winning value right there. So I'm going to grab Kyler Murray here as my quarterback, and I'm stoked about it. I'm thrilled. So there you go.
And you would probably, I think, need to take him around early to be honest, because there are other people who are going to see like,
Yeah.
oh, there are only, look at the ADP, there are only like 3 or 4 good quarterbacks left when they're just briefly going through the ADPs,
Right.
like, Kyler Murray, and they just take him, or they take Richardson. The next guy starts to panic. So you may have to reach for the guy that you want, and you're more satisfied with the players because there's much less risk at this point. But the quarterback position, you still get to that 7th, 8th round without a quarterback. You need to know who you want. You need trust in your process as well. Otherwise, you get screwed over.
Totally.
Who got drafted after you, Noah?
Oh, that's right. I read now. Terry McLaurin, Raheem Mostert, Rome Odunze, and Dak Prescott off the board. Wes, you're back with the 8-10, 8-9 turn.
Yeah. A lot of people are really interested in just getting some of these Packers wide receivers. I'm not. I'm pretty set on guys that I know are for sure a wide receiver one. So you
can accurately
me,
predict their target share. Yeah.
Such as Deontay Johnson, who I will take here.
Big Deontay guy.
I'm such a big Deontay guy, but in my top 10 because I'm reading the numbers and the data. Okay, so then here's the question that we need to figure out. You get to this 9th round and you look at the running backs that are left. It's like, is there any point in getting any of them? Yeah, there's one. And I think I will draft him. At this point, just specifically, well, there's 2, because you mentioned Jaylen Warren. And you mentioned Jonathan Brooks, who at some point could have some decent upside as far as an RB2 potentially. But there's another guy that I really like, and his name is Tajay Spears. And there's a lot of really good reports because he was outscoring Derrick Henry last season in several games. And his PPR value was really impressive, especially with the lack of PPR from Derrick Henry. And then they bring in Tony Pollard, and it's still just Tajay Spears. Pollard is listed as a starter. He would probably be the first guy that gets the first handoff in each game. But at this point, why not take that risk?
55-45 snap count, like snap share.
Yeah.
Like it's literally, like if there's an edge, and I think that can flip flop. And I love Tajay Spears. I think he's a really, really talented guy. So like that pick a lot, Wes. After him goes Jordan Addison, and then Jaden Reed, Xavier Worthy, and then Nick Chubb at the 9-5. I have a feeling that is going to start falling if you have not drafted yet. So if you want the value and you think he might still have it after 2 knee injuries, go for it. But I'll be passing there. I'm gonna grab. Listen, I don't love a ton of running backs right here. Just to be honest, it's the whole point of the strategy is to take 2 stud running backs early and then get some supplemental guys for bye weeks, and and then maybe fab dump to grab the hot waiver ad after week 1 whenever a running back emerges or something like that. This year's Kyron Williams maybe. So yeah, listen, I'm going to stack up at wide receiver. I feel like this guy here is being severely undervalued. I think he is extremely special, and he's playing with a quarterback who loves to sling the football. Can you guess it?
Yeah, we've texted about this value. It's the teammate of the running back I just drafted.
It is. I'm going to grab Calvin Ridley here as my wide receiver 5 for my team. Listen, last year wasn't even a great year. It wasn't a great year for him. Trevor Lawrence didn't play well. Calvin Ridley finishes the wide receiver 18, and for some reason he's going as like the wide receiver 38 or 39 in drafts. And that feels absurd. It feels so foolish. Like, even if the ceiling becomes like top 24 upside, he's still outperforming ADP by 15 spots. Like, that's still an incredible value there. And I've got 4 guys that I already feel really good about with Evans, Kupp, Dell, and Rice. So I've got Ridley there to then be able to take over if one goes down, bye week fill in. It feels really, really good to get Calvin Ridley as such a value on your fantasy teams there. So I'm going to grab him there. I'm feeling really good about that. After him goes Zach Moss, Hollywood Brown, Lad McConkey, who is a guy that I'm also considering here in the 9th round. I like Lad. Keon Coleman, Christian Watson, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Hopkins, and Jaylen Warren. I'm back on the clock here, and I've waited long enough. to grab my dude. I got to grab him here because Sleeper Bot starts being stupid and grabbing second tight ends here as the computer and come the 11th round. So I'm going to grab my man, my guy, Jake Ferguson, my tight end 4 for the season. Jake Ferguson there in the 10th round. Love that value.
Oh,
After that, oh, dude, I knew that was who your next target was going to be, too. After that goes Ezekiel Elliott. And I knew Zeke was going to be your next target. I knew it.
No, I'm drafting Dalvin Cook instead.
Gus Edwards, Brock Bowers, and then the guy you were hoping would get there was Jackson Smith and Jigba, who you started the offseason very high on. And I was like, I don't know, dude. Take it easy. And I'm like with you now. I'm like, oh man, he's gonna be such a good draft pick. So you're back on the clock at the end of the 10th round, though. Wes, you've got 3 picks left. Talk us through when you're getting towards the end of your draft. Obviously, this isn't the actual end. This is a shorter draft than we would usually do. But when you're getting towards the end of your drafts, what are you kind of thinking here with these last few picks?
Well, as you and I are both in consensus on, you can get a really good quarterback at this point and still win your league. It just depends on the strategy of the team you build before the quarterback. Some of these teams that I'm looking at here, let's just kind of go over to like team 4. Let's just do team 4 real briefly here. Okay, so they got Mahomes in the 4th round. And they took Laporta. Okay, that sounds great. And they got Marvin Harrison and Jamar Chase.
Awesome.
Where's your running back? Because then they got Zay Flowers, and then they got Amari Cooper. Their starting running backs are DeAndre Swift and Raheem Mostert. And so what's real about Mostert? Because I know he had a lot of touchdowns last year, but we know.
I'll defend Mostert a little bit. I think that's a fine pick for the value, but for the value, not to be your second running back on your team.
RB2 and DeAndre. So so you just got to pay attention.
They got Gus Edwards, so
they did get Gus Edwards and Xavier Worthy. Anyway, so for me, I don't know how likely this is going to happen, but I have my choice between Jordan Love and Brock Purdy. And Tua. And Love is really high in my top 5. Actually, no, he's I think 5th. But I love Tua, and I get more and more excited about Tua. Do I think Jordan Love will do better in fantasy? I think consistently, yes. But do I think Jordan Love will have? Who would I think have a better week? Whoever the highest scoring week, I think Tua will, and I think I'll go with Tua. You know, because I just want to roll the dice and be like, maybe Tua does have an even better season. So I'll go with Tua. I do love some of these other quarterbacks as well. So this is the trick. The trick is you got a pocket passer and they're not league winning unless you feel really good. They get 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. So do you go get a second quarterback? Possibly, probably. If I had more rounds, yeah, I would later on, I would get someone. But just for the sake of this, I'll get my second quarterback here because actually I would get this guy in like the 15th round. So I'm going to get another quarterback in my top 10, and that's Matthew Stafford because I want to double up.
Wow, okay.
I'm not usually someone because I'm not going to get Jordan Love as my second quarterback. I'm not going to get Caleb Williams or Brock Purdy. They're not going to make it to me at this point. So I just know this, but I'm doing this as the hypothetical of that's my 15th, 14th round pick, just to kind of give the demonstration. I would have taken, just for context, I would have taken maybe Chase Brown. There's some good upside there. I would have gone for Khalil Shakir, actually. I would have gone getting my Bills boy.
I thought you were going to go Jaden Daniels as your second quarterback. I thought you had the pocket passer in Tua, and I thought you might go for the rushing upside with Daniels and rookie.
I've done it. I've done it in mocks.
Yeah, but that's a good plan. Like I've been drafting Kyler Murray consistently, and there are still some times, and I'm like, Daniels here in the 11th is such like a value. Like it's such a value.
Yeah, so, it is.
I've stocked up still with a few more guys after Kyler Murray. Let me grab Jaden Daniels too, because this guy is going to run a lot. So I like that.
Sure.
After that is just a run of quarterbacks, dude. You took Stafford, then Jordan Love. You had Njoku go off the board. and then Caleb Williams, and then Brock Purdy. I also thought Brock Purdy was in consideration given that you drafted Deebo Samuel as well. So I know that's a part of it. Some of these late round guys you get the stack.
Yeah,
You get
but
the, you get the stack with Purdy going
I want to
late.
protect myself. Truly, I want to protect myself from Team 2 and you. That's a genuine strategy I want to throw out there. I want to protect myself from the guy. When I have to play Tyreek Hill, I've got Tua. So it's like half the points are negated. And I got to go against you. I got to pray that Tua has a great game when I play against you when he has Achane. So that's honestly, that's a strategy I've done. You take the quarterback to the teams you're most afraid of so that you can help yourself out a little bit. It's not, honestly, I'm putting that out there.
I like that a lot. It's a really, really good strategy. Here I am. I've got 5 wide receivers. I've got 3 running backs. I've got 2 picks left. I'm going to grab, wild as this sounds, because I really like Jonathan Brooks. I do. I think he's going to be, you know what? No, I'm grabbing Jonathan Brooks. I was going to stray away, but he's going to start the season on the pup, guys. All signs point to it. If he's not, I mean, the ADP is going to fall even further from this point as well. And if I can get him here as my 3rd running back, my 4th running back. He's my 4th running back, and I believe that Dave Canales is going to use him and unleash him come week 6, week 7, maybe, and he's going to be incredible for the back half of the season. And get this, that's when the fantasy playoffs are. So we're going to go ahead and plan for that. So I'm going to grab Jonathan Brooks here as my 4th running back. I like it a lot, and I think he's a great value. And here's the thing: if he starts on the pup, you get to put him in your IR spot, and you just pick up another like late round waiver wire flyer kind of guy once the draft is over. So I like that. I like that opportunity you get there with taking a guy who is going to start on the pup. You get to just get another roster spot freed up for you right away and grab another guy that you like, another late round flyer, so to speak. After that, Devin Singletary, Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, TJ Hawkinson, Trey Benson, Brian Robinson Jr., Jared Goff, and Brian Thomas Jr. I was considering him if he got back around to me. I like a late round rookie, like a late round rookie wide receiver. I like it. Take the upside there, but I'm here. I've got 5 wide receivers. I've got 4 running backs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you made it this far in the episode, you're in for a treat. Because I'm doing what you did, Wes. I'm giving away my late round flyer.
Good.
Hopefully, none of our league mates actually watch this or listen to this.
I hope not. This is actually my team.
But I'm giving away my late round flyer here because I truly believe this guy is truly either he's not involved at all, and you know who you're dropping after week 1. That's a great strategy going into your final pick of your draft is go for a guy that like you're going to know very quickly. Okay, this guy's involved, or I can drop him for the top waiver ad. Like he is a guy that is expendable for my team. Like I can get him off of there. This is a guy that falls into that category. There's some guys I would take ahead of him. And in this scenario, in the middle of the 12th round, there are guys that I really like. I like Curtis Samuel. You and I differ on the Bills wide receiver. I like the opportunity there for him to take a shot. I like Chase Brown, as you mentioned. I really like Jerome Ford, especially given that Nick Chubb is going to be out and start on the pup. I really like Jerome Ford. I like Josh Palmer. I like Xavier Legette. I like some of these guys that it's the high upside shot. I like Rico Dowdle. I like Jalen Wright, especially when I draft Devon Achane. If I'm grabbing him and there's a chance that, maybe the Achane goes down or maybe Mostert goes down, and then you just have the Dolphins backfield locked up. And that's, let me think, valuable. So I like those guys a lot, but I'm going to keep scrolling here. I'm giving this guy away as my late round flyer, my final pick in my drafts. Please don't steal him from me. I'm going to take Darnell Mooney here. I think this guy has a good opportunity in a Falcons offense with Kirk Cousins and the growing news of Kyle Pitts. Maybe this isn't going to be necessarily the biggest season for him potentially. There's question. Darnell Mooney is the number 2 target for Kirk Cousins is in this wide receiver room, and that's locked down. And you may think, Darnell Mooney, he's old, right? He's not old. He's like 26. He's like 26 years old. Oh, well, he's small, right? No, he's like the same exact size as Jordan Addison, who had like 8 touchdowns in 7 games with Kirk Cousins last year. Like I really really believe Darnell Mooney is like the strongest late round flyer of a pick this season, and so I'm always happy taking him at the end of my drafts here, and I'll take him here as a free giveaway. Free giveaway. There you go. Draft Darnell Mooney.
Well done.
After him, Jameson Williams, Cortland Sutton, Jaden Daniels at the end of the 12th, Curtis Samuel, and Wes, you are on the clock at the 12:10 to close it out. Who is your final pick?
I will throw out three players that I will be drafting towards the end of my drafts as well. And at this point as well, especially when you get after like the 11th and 12th round, ADPs don't matter, in my opinion. They really don't matter. Take the guys you want because they're either, as you said, you're going to drop them all very quickly, or you just found the diamond in the rough. And so I've got three that I like. One, someone I've mentioned before during this offseason, Jaleel McLaughlin. The rumors have died down quite a bit about Javonte Williams being just kind of a shell of himself. But it hasn't really it hasn't completely gone under the rug that Jaleel McLaughlin is meant to be the PPR back. So I throw him out there as well.
Absolutely.
I would actually, for this pick here, I'm not going to take him because I want to take someone else for the show. I really like Isaiah Likely. And as you know, I've talked about him for many years, but there is a lot out of training camp that he's going to be playing more wide receiver because they know they want to use him and Mark Andrews. And I think that is, I mean, you're basically getting a mix, wide receiver, tight end hybrid for Isaiah Likely, who catches everything. So I love him. I would probably actually take him at this point, at this round, maybe the next pick. But who I am going to take is a wide receiver for a really bad team with a sticky quarterback situation in a wide receiver room that has no clear answer, but he did well sometimes last year, and there's been a lot of hype in his rookie training camp and this training camp, and it's Demario Douglas of the New England Patriots, because you will see so quickly if he's the alpha or not. You'll know right away. And if he has 4 or fewer targets in week 1, drop his ass and go get the waiver wire of the week. That's the guy I'm taking. But I want to remind people, seen a lot of people spread his name here and there as one of the sleeper candidates for wide receivers. I like him, and especially with Jacoby Brissett very likely being the quarterback 1 to start the season, there's a chance he's going to be the guy. That's it for the draft. Final mock draft, baby.
Final mock draft. Wes, run us down real quick. Your team. Go. Let's go at positions. Quarterback.
Okay.
And then running backs and wide receivers, and then tight end.
Okay, I've got 2 quarterbacks on my team, Tua Tagovailoa and Matthew Stafford. Say what you want. They're both top 10 pocket passers this season. My running backs, beauty squad here. Bijan Robinson, Rashad White, and his very wonderful PPR upside. Zamir White, not related, and Tajay Spears, potentially RB1 for the Tennessee Titans. And then my wide receivers, Deebo Samuel, the wide back who's going to take over for Brandon Ayuk. Malik Neighbors, you don't need a great quarterback to be a great wide receiver. Chris Godwin, as many targets as Mike Evans, hopefully some more touchdowns, please God. Deontay Johnson, good system now. Bryce Young's going to be better. And then to cap it off, the alpha in New England, Demario Douglas. And, of course, the elite of elite tight ends that's not named Travis Kelce or Sam Laporta. It's Dalton Kincaid with a positional advantage. That's my squad.
I love it. I love you're talking about Demario Douglas, like the alpha, and he's like 5'9" and like 175 pounds. Yeah,
baby. Dude, don't make fun of size, okay? Please. It makes me insecure.
Dude, that's huge. That's massive. I mean,
thank you.
Demario Douglas is a huge guy. Listen.
Very big boy.
I just built a God squad here from the 106, and I'm going to tell you who it is. My quarterback is Kyler Murray, going to be a top 5 guy this season. Have full confidence in that. My running backs, Breece Hall. I got Devon Achane, Najee Harris, and Jonathan Brooks there to go in the pup in the IR spot and then pick up another running back or another skill player. My wide receivers, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, Rashee Rice, Calvin Ridley, and then Darnell Mooney. What a wide receiver room that is. I wouldn't want to run into those guys in a dark alley because they're going to do? They're going to put up 30 points on you every week. That's what they're going to do. My tight end, my guy, my tight end 4, Jake Ferguson, going to be an absolute steal of the draft. There it is. That rounds out my God squad there from the 106. It's going to be good luck, everybody else. Your teams are going to lose, and I'm going to win. There you go. That's
Good
it.
squad.
That does it. Final mock draft of 2024 before the season starts. Book it. There it is. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. As always, follow us on all our socials that are linked down below. We got a ton of stuff going on down there. Always having a blast as well on all our different platforms. So make sure you are following us. We will see you next time for a little bit of, Thursday Night Football preview. We're back. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. We're back and we're ready for it. Here we go. It's going to be a blast. We will see you next week. My name is Noah Selby.
I'm Wes Selby.
And this has been 4th and Troll Fantasy.
4th and Troll Fantasy is a production of FQ Media and Selby Artistic Workshop.